I remember back as far as I was a kid, going down there to the beach, and we used to have in the summertime, we'd always have weenie roast or marshmallow roast or something down there on the beach. And a lot of the people from Mobile would come over and spend the summer, and we got to play with all these young people, and it just made it a real nice place to live. The store there was a center point in activity in the Point Clear area. They were the only place that had a telephone. And we'd get people call in and want to talk to somebody on the Eastern Shore, and then we would run down there and tell them, and then they would come up and call the people back. And they charged 25 cents or 15 cents to notify these people that they had a call come in. And that's what they paid whoever ran down there to notify the people. But it was a real nice childhood. We had a lot of people that we knew from Mobile that we started playing with and associating with during the summer months. And some of them are still friends to this day. Well, the store was built on that lot years ago. My grandfather came from Germany in 1872, and they had all kind of things. They had a sawmill, they had a cotton gin, they had a farm, and all that. And this was an opening to the bay where the bay boats would come in and bring the material and supplies to the community, to the store and everything. And then after that building burned, which was in May, I got home out of the Navy in May, middle of May, and that burned on the 6th day of June in 1946. And after that lot burned, then there was a constantly try to close that public opening to the bay. And we fought it for years. And it finally went as far as the Alabama Supreme Court, and they gave a ruling on it where it couldn't be closed. And so we turned it over to the commission, Baldwin County Commission, with the idea that they'd make sure that that lane was always maintained and kept open. There's no other openings to the bay along anywhere between this opening into the Grand Hotel. But south of here, when you go down towards Mullet Point, there's a few openings down there where you can get to the water. Then you've got Mullet Point, that's a park there that you can also get to the water. But right in our area, this is the only opening to the bay. Yeah. We wanted to make sure that the people in the community had access to the bay, because it was there for so many years that we just didn't want it to be closed and keep anyone from going to the Jubilees or going down there to fish or anything. And we were successful in getting this ruling on that kept it open. We were real pleased to give this land to the Baldwin County, and it was given by the heirs of the Zundel family and the heirs of the Broadbeck family. And we hope that they'll maintain it and keep it like it is now.
They tell me that on the second story of Broadbeck Zundel store, they would have a little plot in for each individual farmer, and they'd bring their pecans, and once they got enough to load a trailer truck, Mr. Zundel, Mr. Brobeck would contact a buyer out of St. Louis, and he would bring a truck down here and load the pecans up and haul them. A lot of the produce and stuff was shipped on the bay boats here, and that was one of the things that made that store so important, I think, is the bay boats came here, plus there wasn't any other place around here to buy stuff. During the Second World War, when I was just a small child, but my mom and daddy, every Saturday, that's whenever the farmers would go town and buy their groceries. And during the war, there was so much stuff that was rationed that you had to have coupons to get them. And you just didn't go into one store and get what you wanted. I remember my mom and dad would stop out here at Brobeck and Zundel's, and of course, back at that time, the parents ruled, the kids sat in the truck. You didn't go in the store, so I don't ever remember going into the store, but I remember sitting out in the car while they'd done the shopping, and then at the time it burnt, we were, of course, all the roads was dirt except 98 out here was a federal road. It was paved. And that Sunday that we went to church, Daddy drove by here, and I seen the store after it was burned, which was just a big charred up, nothing left of it. And of course, we've been affiliated with Arnold and John Brobeck all our lives. We farmed their land, still farm it to be fact, but they were such a good people, and they thought a lot of the farmers and all the people around here, and it's just, they were really an asset to the community.
Came here with my mother and father about 1940. My father was stationed here, duty station at Chickasaw Naval Shipyard. We lived about a half a mile from here towards the north, towards the hotel. We lived in a couple of different places. We rented our homes over here because this was the cheapest place to live during the war. Back in those days, most people that had a summer home over here lived in Mobile. Nobody lived over here full time. And in the wintertime, they were glad to have somebody to look after their homes. So we lived in the, let's see, there were two different homes where we lived. One was the Omrick house, and the other one was the Ollinger house. None of those houses, neither one of them are still here, but they're about a half a mile from here towards the hotel. The hotel is a mile from here. And my mother used to come down here and shop at Broadbeck and Zundel's store for the groceries. And we walked down what we all called then, and still do, the boardwalk, which extends from here north to the hotel about a mile. And when we got here to Zundel's Lane, she would walk up the lane to the store, and I would stop off here and play with my friend, Frank McPhillips, who lives over in Mobile now. He's a surgeon over there. And then when my mother finished shopping, she'd come down and pick me up, and we'd go back home. And this was sort of the hub of everything that went on here in Point Clear. You bought everything at the store. There was a library also right here on Zundel's Lane. It's Point Clear Library. That's where you borrowed your books. And it was just a sort of a community effort. Later, the lane was the subject of a pretty good sized lawsuit. Some folks wanted to close the lane to the public. This was after the store had burned, and John Broadbeck and Arnold Broadbeck fought that case all the way to the Supreme Court, state of Alabama, and won, and kept this lane open to the public. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be here today. Then the library eventually got moved up to the Point Clear School, which is just up the road from here, about a mile east of here. And years later, it was getting into some sort of disrepair, so the folks that had last run the library were Broadbecks, and they gave me permission to save the building and the books in it. And my father-in-law, Mr. Dick Murray, who his home is about 6 doors south of here, he allowed us to put the library in his backyard, which is now our backyard. So we've still got the library. It didn't burn with the store. And all the books that were in it, they're not in very good condition because it sat out there for years and sort of in the weather. But it's all pretty much like it was back in the 1940s and before. And then you have this lane here, which is this is the only public access to the boardwalk. From this publicly dedicated lane that John and Arnold Brodbeck made happen. And of course today we dedicated the parking lot where the store was, which also was a gift from John and Arnold Brodbeck and their family. So without the Brodbecks and the Zundels, we never would have had this wonderful place for the public to access the bay. We never would have had access to this boardwalk, which is probably one of the prettiest walks in the state of Alabama, where you walk all along the bay, you look at the beautiful homes, you can go from here to the hotel. Just a terrific asset for Baldwin County, and I think a terrific day for folks to be here and dedicate the parking lot and celebrate the county's interest in preserving what we've got here.